Hello friends and welcome back to the Sip and Smoke podcast. Me and Billy are back and we are in a different location, but before we get into anything, we want to give a couple shout outs to some commenters in previous podcast episodes. So the first of which goes to Lucky 7 Comic Shops, also known as Lee, for commenting on our last episode and purchasing the subscription. We truly appreciate it.
Yeah, and the second one is Toey7819. Apologies if I messed up the pronunciation or how you mean that to be said, but thank you very much. I'm glad you're really enjoying the podcast, and maybe one day we'll go on that camping trip, but we'll see.
Of course. So, like we said, we're in a different location. Billy, do you want to tell us where we are and who we're with?
Yeah, of course. So obviously, we've been on the road a little bit. We've made a trek up to Leeds, to our beautiful Leeds lounge, and we have met with two very good friends of ours. First, we have Ray. Ray is the general manager of the Leeds store. You may know him, and as well as Usman, who is cigar inspector.
Yeah, nice to see you guys again, man. It's been a while.
Yeah,
it's a pleasure. I mean,
it's been a while.
Welcome to the lounge and welcome in Leeds.
I'm glad to be back. To be fair, it's been a while.
It's nice to be here when it's not as hot. Last time we were here, it was boiling. And
nah, man.
Today it's nice
I like
and cool.
that heat. There's air conditioning here now, man. It's fine.
I walked up the stairs earlier and thought it's actually quite a nice temperature to sit here and
exactly.
enjoy a cigar. But speaking of cigars, I mean, do you want to run through kind of what we've got?
Of course. So I've got the Drew Estate Factory Smokes Maduro Robusto. Beautiful cigar. Can't wait to get it cut and lit.
Have you had that before?
I've had the natural version.
And then, yeah, I've got the Vega Fina 25th Anniversary Toro today. And Usman, what are you smoking today?
I've got one of my favorites. It's the Hoyo de Monterey Epicure number 3.
We had to pick
gorgeous
out
cigar.
The darkest wrapper leaf for you.
Oh yeah, the dark wrapper leaves make all the difference. Ray, remember that box you had?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Listen, dark wrapper leaves on these cigar.
I remember the message come through and you was like, oh, as long as it's a dark wrapper, we're happy. But what about yourself, Ray? What we got?
Well, I have a Tabernacle Toro. One of my favorites as well. You know, I like strong, full body, flavorful cigar. Using two of my favorite tobaccos in there, Connecticut Broadleaf as a wrapper and Mexican Sanders as a binder. So literally can't ask for more.
Can't better match your palate then. Yeah, I mean, you've got quite
look how dark the wrapper leaf.
I mean, it's beautiful.
Do you know what I mean? I was talking about, look how dark. Look at this, man.
It's beautiful. It really is.
It's a gorgeous cigar in there.
Yep.
I was going to say, it's a personal favourite of yours.
It really is, yeah. I also love the David as well.
David's too strong, man.
Do you think?
Too strong?
This is perfect. This is one of the best cigars I've smoked. The David, is it David or David?
David. Well, that's how George...
non-English person in the building pronounce David.
Well, George usually
George
calls
says
it the David, doesn't he?
Does George say David? Okay, we're going to stick with David then.
You have to have a good meal before it.
I tried, man.
Well, I haven't eaten anything today, so...
See, I didn't think the David was too bad. I didn't think the David was too
Shall we get into it?
Yeah, of course. I mean, hold off too long for the cigars, but...
Has everyone got a lighter?
I've got a couple there, yeah.
This is what I mean. Look. Slice through it. So this is the cutter that I absolutely love.
Yeah, but you've got torpedoes. So easy to cut.
Yeah, but try that with the freaking DuPont. You have like a step left.
It's funny, you've put this down on the table and we've both ignored it and gone straight to the other one.
Exactly.
I have the circumcising still.
You got
you've got the coolest one looking.
Thanks for that image, man.
We've not had the Epicure number 3 yet, have we?
I don't believe so, no. But I really like the Epicure number 2.
Should make it cigar of the month.
No, this is a lot better.
Is it?
This is a lot better.
Why is it? What makes it better to you?
I don't know. I mean, the ones that I smoked. So the first one I smoked was good, but then after that, the ones that I smoked were the ones that were here, and Ray managed to get a couple of boxes with. I'm talking like basically Maduro wrapper leaves.
I was gonna say, because didn't you put something on one of your stories or something? It was darker than the Partagas Maduro, wasn't it?
It was darker than the Partagas Maduro.
Which is mental.
Yeah, and those were incredible. They weren't like regular Hoyo de Monterey cigars. They didn't have any strength. But
you kind of expect that with the Hoyos though.
Yeah, but I like that. I don't like strong cigars generally.
So me and Luis now we're going to see the smoking machines.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
His cigar and my cigar will smoke as hell.
Oh, which way do you... There we go. I'm getting all fancy.
If you push it up...
Huh?
If you push up the bar that you just rotated, it'll give you a jet flame.
This one's rubbish.
Oh. Pulling out all the...
Basically, yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Can I borrow it?
You gotta hold it if you want to use the jet.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'll end up dropping it or breaking it or something. I'm too heavy-handed.
Oh, wow.
I went to pick it up and then he spun it the wrong way. Have any of you had this yet? This cigar?
No, I haven't tried that.
Is that the 19...
The 1998.
So I think it's the same as the older 1998, just different size.
Okay.
I don't think it's a different blend, and this is probably the best Vega Fina you can smoke. Also with one which is called Barrel Aged. They're the two Vega Finas, which is very nice. I don't think the other one is in UK at all. But this one is, if you want to go for a Vega Fina, go
probably
for
the best one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Vega Fina isn't a brand that I've really delved
What size
into
is that?
too much. It comes down to the Toro, but 6.5 by 52. So slightly longer than like an
Toro
average Toro.
Extra.
Is that what they...
Like that. Well, theoretically it should be like that, because if it's another inch on top, it will be double Corona.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I looked at it earlier and the website and everything says Toro, and I was thinking, well, Toro comes in usually 6 inches, right? And then we looked at on the way up here, didn't we? And we saw the Tabernacle. And we was like, no, it's definitely not just a basic Toro. But
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, off the bat so far, there's not really any strength to it. It's very mild.
Yeah,
really.
your cigar's smoky as hell, man. It's like intruding on mine. Like, keep your smoke that way, man.
This is really citrusy. It's
Citrusy.
In a good way or a bad way?
Undecided.
Undecided.
Yeah.
Can I just say, this is gorgeous.
You know what to expect with them
oh
now.
my god, this
You've
is...
smoked about 15 boxes of them.
No, I smoked through 2 boxes, right? 125, 110. Yeah.
Less than I thought you would have done.
Technically 2 boxes, but not 2 full boxes.
Yeah.
But enough of them.
Yeah, of course.
And this is still as good, man.
I need to try it. I mean, to be fair, Cubans as a whole, I need to kind of dive a little bit deeper into it.
I might stay quiet for the whole show because this is really good.
Yeah.
So
just zone out.
I'm just gonna sit here, enjoy it. You guys talk, yeah.
Okay, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, we've also got a few pairings. I mean, usually we have one pairing between the two of us, but we've gone for something different.
That's right.
Everyone's got something a little bit different. If you kick us off, we can.
So I have the Dominique London Privy Liberation. I love this cigar cognac. It's beautiful. It's just really easy going. Like, there's no real like peatiness to it. It's just super smooth. Got a nice sweetness. You really get the apple and grape in there. I love that. But you guys have opted for some whiskies, haven't you? So
yeah, I mean, I've gone off your recommendation, Ray. I've gone for the Staladou Benriach 12-year-old rum wood, and I mean, I've had a small sip of it so far, and off the bat, it's spectacular. Really, really easy going. Really nice. So hopefully.
Don't forget, this was chosen the best whiskey in the world this year in the category of Speyside under 12 years.
So I've got a good pairing here.
Yeah,
really treated for us. We come up to
well,
Leeds. We'll come here more often. But yeah.
But what have you got?
I'm having as well Staladou single cask Glengarry. This is finished in a Margaux cask finished, so 59% alcohol, quite strong, heavy.
Wow.
But I mean, I have full body cigar, and it's again,
it should hold up.
I mean, I was planning to ask you a question regarding the pairings, because a lot of people, when you say pairings, I know in your podcast it's quite important, the pairing, what you're doing. Have you think of actually how do you pair the cigar with the whiskey? Because the cigar, everyone say, oh, I put the cigar in my mouth and I drink the whiskey. Well, you can't do it technically.
Right.
You pair it with the aftertaste of the cigar.
See, I do. It's like a sandwich, right?
Yeah.
Take a sip before.
Yeah, but you don't pair it with the drink because you can't. You drink it with the, with the cigar, you pair it with the after finish of the cigar, not with the whole smoke at the moment. So that's the very big difference, because look at now, you exhale and then you drink.
Yeah.
That's the finish. That's not the
right,
flavors of the cigar.
Okay.
That's an interesting way of putting it, really. We've never really thought about it like that, have we?
No, not really.
I've never really thought
I
about it like that either. Yeah, that's really interesting.
Because I do a lot of pairings, and part of my job is to do it, and I always say, when somebody say, how would you pair this whiskey or this cigar? And then you need to say, if it's a cigar, it's the harder one, but you need to think how long finish have the cigar in your mouth, because if it's a short finish, you can pair with anything, because you don't have not much in your mouth and then it tastes only that way. If it's a long finish cigar, it's very hard, because sometimes that finish stays for 20 seconds in your mouth, and then you pair with something, it might not match. So you need to think of the longest finish, and I'll give you an example with a very short finish cigar which you can pair with everything. This is Plasencia Alma Fuerte.
Okay.
It's a strong cigar, but there's literally, after you exhale the puff, there's nothing in your mouth. You can use anything. You can use rum, whiskey, cognac, or anything.
That's a good way to put it.
It
I
is,
mean,
yeah.
to be fair, as you say, you usually just take a puff of the cigar, take a sip of the whiskey,
Yeah,
and
but
rum
you
or whatever.
don't do it in the same way. You know, like
Yeah, I
we're
suppose.
saying, oh, you can't puff and drink in the same moment. So when people reading reviews about cigars and they say, oh, this is a caramel, creamy, woody, no, well, this is the notes in the puff, but the finish coming afterwards. So sometimes very few reviewers actually add finish notes. And what are those notes after that? So you need to think of that when you do a pairing.
Okay, that's really interesting.
That is actually, yeah.
Wow.
We'll definitely have to take that on board because I think that will help with our.
You're still a nerd, man.
Oh, you know I'm nerd. You're coming to my
To be
I'm
fair-
gonna be nerdy conversation there.
We learn something every time we come up here. To be fair, we always say like you're literally an encyclopedia of knowledge, whiskey, rums, cigars, and everything. So we kind of look forward to this, probably more so than you guys do. To be fair, so it's actually absolute honour to kind of have you
We're
on.
looking
and-
forward to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I
We
appreciate it.
haven't been on this side.
Yeah.
Me and Usman have a long, what do you call it? Influencer / YouTube.
Don't use the word influencer,
experience.
man.
Well, we don't influence anyone, but yeah.
Didn't like that one,
We've
did you?
always been on the other side. We did quite
Yeah.
a few interviews. We did our live show. We keep doing stuff on the sides and everything, but we actually never been together on a podcast.
On the other side.
I'm being interviewed.
Interviewing. So we've been interviewing separately, but not together, which is a very interesting one.
Different, yeah.
It's an honour to have it for your first one then.
Yeah,
I
honestly.
mean, we can
Honours all ours,
we can
man.
be
You
more
know, it's
buzzing
great to
about
see
it.
you guys on the Sip and Smoke podcast. I always watch the show.
Yeah.
The podcast is great. I really enjoyed it, honestly.
Yeah.
I was watching the first. I think you're on episode 4 now, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. See,
right,
I've been paying attention. I've been watching it.
You know,
Appreciate that.
It's
you've
really
just looking
good.
at it for the last half an hour whilst we've been sat down.
Just doing some research.
Yeah. Oh, what should we bring up? Oh, we've just said about this bit. But yeah, no, we appreciate it, obviously.
So it's a new podcast that you've got on the C.Gars channel.
Yeah,
So it's still part of C.Gars then?
yeah, still
Right,
runs on the
okay.
same sort of platform
That's
and
right, yeah.
everything. I mean, we kind of just looked at it and thought, well, the way it's going, it's like relaxed, sort of sat back, long format content seems
Yeah,
to be
yeah,
quite
yeah.
well. I mean, everyone seems to be doing a podcast right now, right? So
Yeah.
we was like, well, how do we kind of keep with the times and move
That's why we
forward? And
That's why we stopped.
everyone's
We
started,
stopped
you
at the
just
wrong
left.
time.
Well, you could kind of say you're the pioneers. You've left, and everyone else has kind of jumped on it. But Yeah, we thought-
No, I wouldn't say pioneers, but
but yeah, we thought a bit more relaxed, kind of get to know people behind the faces. You know, it's a little bit less
yeah.
formal, all of that.
Also, just want to quickly mention to all the viewers, you probably heard the bells in the back right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are welcome to Leeds bells. When you come to this store, those bells go off every 15 minutes, so just get used to it.
I was gonna say,
we've kind of blanked it out, like we don't even hear it anymore. But I heard it just now, and I was like, oh, okay, they're going off. So
Doing
yeah.
a disclaimer for us.
Yeah, I think it's fair enough. I mean, in Norfolk we got seagulls, don't we? So
Yeah, too many seagulls.
absolute nightmare. We had some nesting on our roof recently, and
Absolutely.
protecting their babies and just going nuts at people.
Every time you filmed, you was in a absolute, like, there was no aircon or
just
anything.
really bad mood.
Yeah, and you're sat up the top, and the room that we film in isn't massive, right? So obviously a few people smoking cigars and everything, and then it's just like there's no ventilation, it's sweating, sun's beaming through the window, and then you got the seagulls going nuts, so you can't even open it. It's like, oh.
Yeah,
Like I said, air conditioning.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's probably something we're gonna have to look into and grab.
yeah, I reckon so. Yeah.
But we'll have to speak to Laura and
Of
see what
course,
we
yeah.
can do.
Kind of wanted to ask you guys, because you guys are online everywhere regarding cigars, but we kind of don't get to know you more personally. What was your upbringing like, and how did cigars come into that? So we'll start off with you, Ray. What was that like for you? Because I believe you're from Bulgaria. And
Yeah, born in Bulgaria, born and raised. I lived there up to 16 years ago. I started smoking in Bulgaria, but it was very, very occasional smoking. I don't know what I was smoking. A lot of people ask, what was your first cigar and anything? So none of my family smoked cigars, so that's not coming from generation or anything. It was just, I was part of a different events back in the time with the different organizers, and there was always sponsorships on those events, cigars and whiskey and alcohol. You know, back in the time when you could smoke everywhere, that was very popular, and that's how I started, just from curiosity. You know, I grew up with the 80s and 90s action heroes like Schwarzenegger and Stallone, and they always been
Love a cigar.
associated with the cigars. And
Yeah.
I want to be, you know, I want to try from curiosity. I've never smoked any other tobacco product in my life. I've never tried cigarette. I've never tried.
Even still to this day.
Yeah, I've never tried cigarette in my life. I've never smoked weed. I've never smoked anything like that. So the only product I've smoked is cigars, and I've tried shisha twice, just for the curiosity, but it was nothing I get in there. So cigars are the only tobacco product I'm enjoying. And that's
true,
how I start.
There's usually like a transition, right?
There is, yeah.
Because usually, obviously, people normally smoke cigarettes or anything like that, and then they kind of transition on. But it's strange to
No, straight away on that one. And yeah, that's how I start.
Do you remember what your first cigar was?
No idea. It would be probably Cuban or Davidoff, because that was the important brands on those. When you go to a fancy event, you won't usually have the high-end cigars, and most likely Cohibas or something like that. I don't remember, and this was even when I come in England, when I arrived in England, moved my family here. I was still smoking only Cubans for a good period of time until accidentally I smoked a Royal Jamaica cigar, which was made in Jamaica back in the time, and I say, okay, this is a good cigar, and it's not Cuban. I used to know the Cubans are the only cigars you were smoking, and then my character just decided, you know what, let's research a little bit, let's see what's in there, let's dig in there, and the more digging, the more curious I was, and that's how I literally, at some point, I want to know everything about every brand.
So that's when it became a passion for you.
Yeah, literally, that was the passion. The passion was already there, but maybe the COVID kick everything to a more professional level.
Okay.
Before COVID was passion, buying vintage cigars, collecting vintage cigars, not much into the all kind of weird brands, but during the COVID I have literally not much to do.
I was going to say,
and
a lot of time on your hands.
Spend the time on a lot of Zoom calls with a lot of people. That was popular back in the time with all the cigar producers and makers, and yeah.
I know. Good transition. What about yourself, Usman?
For me, same. I've never been into cigarettes or anything. I've literally smoked nothing. The first thing I ever smoked was a cigar. I was actually one of those really, judgmental anti-smoking. I probably can't use the word, but there's a word. One of those guys, and then I don't know. I think as you grow older, you become a little bit more relaxed, and things don't bother you as much. And
you kind of open your horizons to things, though, right?
Yeah, and
then
then
make the mind up.
Also, to come back to one of the points you made, people generally transition from like cigarettes. I find the opposite. I find that people that smoke cigarettes have a tougher time with cigars, in my experience. So like all the people that I've met, when they've started smoking cigarettes and then they try and move over to cigars, they have a tougher time with cigars because they just don't get it.
Because of the inhaling side of it?
Yeah. Well, it's multiple things, because from their perspective, it's like, well, why am I smoking this? I'm getting nothing out of it.
Yeah.
And they don't understand that cigars are for the aromas, for the flavors, for the enjoyment, for the relaxation. It's not for, I need that hit.
And cigarette smokers also kill their taste buds as well over
That
time.
that was what I'm about to ask, because I've never smoked cigarettes. I've known you guys smoke cigarettes before, but I think people who smoke cigarettes, they actually doesn't pick a lot of the flavors, doesn't detect a lot of the interesting flavors. That's why they like.
Yeah, not
as
at all.
you say, there's no point to smoke.
There must be a gradient. Like there must be some people who can pick up, but yeah, I'm assuming it probably does affect their taste buds. But despite that, even if you take away the taste buds out of it, for them, they've associated smoking with this habit of taking in nicotine. So for them, it's like, they're getting like a little something out of it in that sense. But cigar smokers, in my experience, don't generally smoke cigars for the nicotine per se.
No.
They smoke cigars because they enjoy cigars, because they like the cigars, they like the flavors. Otherwise, we wouldn't be exploring all the different brands and so on, like as Ray says, and as you guys, when you're going through different brands and everything and exploring all the cigars, you wouldn't be doing that because you just smoke one cigar because it's like, oh yeah, that's what I get. And most cigarette smokers, they smoke one brand, right? That's their brand. That's what they smoke because it gives them what they need. Anyway, I've gone off on a tangent there. What was the question again?
It was about your upbringing, how you got into cigars. And
I got into cigars through my uncle. My uncle is a good or a bad influence, depending on what side you look at it.
A good influence.
Oh yeah, for me, definitely.
Good influence in cigar smoking, but bad influence in the wallet.
Yeah.
Spending too much money on
yeah, it sucks, man. But the first cigar I ever smoked, I got lucky. I got really lucky. So my uncle's
oh, here we go.
My uncle's let's say he's comfortable. But anyway, my uncle, he's
Can you guess?
Okay, yeah.
Can you guess what he smoked first?
Royal Release.
No.
Okay.
A Cuban. It's gonna be Cuban, yeah?
I don't know. Guess.
I want to say something like Part of Gas Lusitanias or something.
Okay.
Mexique 52.
Okay, even. Okay.
I didn't know though. But you gotta understand, like at the time, I had no idea what it was, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just told me, he just put like a box of cigars on the table and he goes, take the 52, leave the 54. And I'm looking at him like, what?
What's the difference?
No, I didn't even know what he meant. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, what does 52 mean? Right? And he gets annoyed with me, like I'm supposed to know. And he goes, this one, and he gives it to me. And then, like, you know, I'm none the wiser. I don't know what it is. I don't know how much it costs. I don't know. I have no idea what it is, right? For me, it's just a cigar. Cigar's a cigar. So I've been cutting and lighting his cigars for years. So I know what I'm doing. Cut it, lit it, took the first puff, immediately fell in love. Like, this is the most incredible thing. Like, better than anything I had up until that point. It was like food,
I mean, I don't think
whatever I've drank.
there's many people that smoke a Bahique for their first cigar.
And it was like I think it was one of the earlier releases as well. And I had no idea what it was. I called him up afterwards. Like, this is like a few weeks afterwards. It's still in the back of my mind. I'm like, what the hell was that? Because it was so good. And I told him what's the cigar called? And he goes, oh, it's a Bahique. I'm like, what the hell does that mean? Yeah. So he spelled it out for me, and I typed it up, looked it up, and it's like, oh, it's 150. It's only 150 pounds per cigar. And that's like back then.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah. The first Bahique I smoked was about 20 pounds.
Really?
Yeah. So
Wow.
how long ago was that?
2010, right?
No, neither have I.
Probably a few years after.
Neither have I.
That's crazy though. I mean, my first Cuban was a Cohiba Robusto, and you remember the experience with
You
that?
went completely white and nearly fell asleep.
Yeah, we filming a review. Didn't go up, by the way.
This was very early doors.
This was very early days, yeah. But
You smoked the Cohiba Robusto?
yeah. So
Back when it was
Georgina,
about £30.
yeah.
No.
So
Oh yeah.
humidor manager at the time come up to me and went, "Which one do you want?" So I was like, "I want that one," because I've seen people love them, and they're so premium as well. And so we sat there sampling the cigars, and you had a different cigar.
I can't remember what cigar it was.
White Churchill. Was it
It
not?
was, yeah, Romeo, yeah. White
Yeah.
Churchill.
Good
And
cigar.
so we
It
got
was
towards the
phenomenal cigar.
outro.
I didn't get to enjoy it, as you will quite clearly.
Okay.
So we were working our way down the cigars, and I got about halfway, and I was like, "It's getting to me now." And my face starts going white, and then we get towards the outro. Billy starts doing his outro for the video. I get up and go, "I'm going to be sick," and I have to run outside, and I wasn't sick.
No,
But then after about 5 or 10 minutes, I came back in and I was like,
bit
right,
of sugar and you're alright.
finish video, come back in. Nope, ran back out again. It was
Yeah.
awful.
It was a bit of a...
I thought I was a lightweight.
it was
What
such
happened
a-
here, man?
This is a big misconception when the people buying Cohibas and they think because they're popular, they will be like, perfect for everyone. Cohiba can be a very strong cigar, especially the Linea Classico, the Robusto,
Oh, yeah,
and stuff, and,
classic line,
and
yeah.
also the Bahique. Bahique is a full body cigar. And if you don't know that, and you just, I smoke once
Off
a
the
year,
brand.
you'll be very, very in trouble. And I don't recommend usually that cigars for people who don't have the experience, even if they like the fancy blunt and the fanciest around that cigar. It's
That's
just-
kind of
Yeah.
what...
Smoke the
what
Siglos. The Siglos are mild.
Yes.
I mean, not anymore.
Maybe
I
next
think
time.
I had a
I've not had a Cohiba since.
I think I had a Siglo too. I think we went out to take photos. We
Yeah.
went down the beach.
You did have one.
And I think I had one then. But yeah,
They're-
I found
the
it very,
Siglo
very
series are
mild.
really
Singles are
mild,
milder.
yeah.
That's the mildest.
But the classic line is better,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
See, I've not... I don't
A lot
think
of people
I've
will
had any.
disagree, but for me, classic series, Robusto, Lancero, Esplendidos, unbeatable.
Cohiba is the only Cuban brand which have 3 different strengths in their portfolio.
Okay.
Oh,
They
really?
have the medium strength, which is the Linea Siglo, all the Siglos. You have the medium to full, which is the Linea Classica, and you have the full body, which is the Linea Bahique.
Oh,
And the
wow.
Maduro.
And the Maduro, yes.
I was going to say, when
Maduro
is
is
the Maduro?
medium to full, actually.
Is it?
Yes.
It's my favorite Cohiba.
The Maduro.
Yeah, the Maduro Mágicos, incredible.
Okay.
See, again...
That's
yeah.
my one-off. Like once every few months on a special occasion, I'll get a Maduro Mágicos, but only for those occasions. But other than that, no, I'll stay away from Cohiba.
Yeah, I again, I'm not overly a massive fan on Cubans. I don't ever really tend to go for them. So
Really?
I always usually go New World. I think they offer me a little bit more
See,
flavour.
I told you we found one,
Yeah,
right?
I
You
am
were-
more
no,
similar now, though, aren't I?
yeah,
I'm like that.
You've kind of transitioned a little bit
Yeah.
from smoking purely Cuban to a
So
little bit better.
Ray and I had a
Ray-
conversation. Sorry, but Ray and I had a conversation a little while ago, right? And I said, I think there must be people out there who only smoke New Worlds and don't give a crap about Cubans or whatever. And Ray was like, nah, normally it's the other way. Cuban cigar smokers are a little bit, pompous about it. And I'm like, right here.
Well, I have
from-
quite a few friends which also don't touch Cubans anymore.
Yeah.
They all more go to their favorite brands in New Worlds, and even customers in the shop. Some of the customers that never smoke a Cuban, and they don't want to touch a Cuban.
I think it's just how it goes, right? Especially for like older generation, in my experience, Cubans sell themselves, right? Everyone loves a Cuban. Every time you're smoking a cigar out in public, everyone's like, "Oh, is that a Cuban?"
But for how long though?
They have 150 years marketing.
Yeah, exactly. And I think New World is kind of on its up. I think definitely is coming up.
Oh yeah,
And
massively.
I think
massively.
for younger generation especially, I think New World's more just from a price point. You know, you can get something that's like, you know, factory smokes £12.99, £13 something,
Yeah.
and it's still a good smoke, right? So you can't really tend to get that from a Cuban portfolio. So
Are there
people
any Cubans for like £12.99, £13 in the UK now?
No. I
Yeah,
don't think so.
JLP I think in Guantanamo.
Oh, no, they're not cigars.
Purito.
If you're talking for a
We're talking long filler,
Long
like proper
filler.
cigars.
I think the cheapest one will be around half Corona H. Upman and Rafael Gonzalez Perlas.
That's about
They will be
15.
around £16 each.
Ooh, damn.
Yeah,
And then if you
so-
want something a bit bigger, you've got the Floricano, which is like £20.
But
The Elegidos?
they're not long filler.
Short
That's
filler.
not long filler.
Short
Oh, is
filler.
it? Oh, is it
yeah.
not?
Elegidos is long, short filler.
Short filler that.
Well,
I
I
actually
enjoyed
had
that.
Do you know
had
what?
one.
I gave that a really bad review when I smoked it the first time because it was terrible. It was definitively terrible.
Right.
And I smoked more of them since then, and they were all terrible. But, and this is probably the one-off that you get, right? When I was in Edinburgh, maybe it was because, you know, we've talked about this, right? Where you are, what you're doing makes a big difference.
Yeah, of course.
And the weather was perfect. I'm surrounded by these beautiful, you know, scenic castles. And I just sat there because I finished all the work. I just sat there and I just smoked this Elegidos thinking it's going to be absolute crap. And it was really good.
The environment plays a
It makes a massive
part, 100%.
difference.
We
And
talk about that a lot.
That cigar was like, it was beaten up as well because it was just in my bag and it was just moving around. It's an Elegidos. You know,
You
I didn't,
kinda
I didn't,
not take
I
it
didn't,
too
I didn't
much,
take care of it. I'm gonna be honest with you, right? But I think I punched some life into it because when I smoked that was gorgeous.
Talking about cigars and tasting and things like that, I know, Ray, you're on the panel of the Cigar Journal, is it?
Yes, I'm part of 2 panels at the moment. Through the years, I've done a lot of different tastings, panels, anything. At the moment, I'm stick to Cigar Journal and Cigar Sense. Those are the 2 medias and websites where I'm part of. And yeah, we do a lot of blind tastings. I would say I smoke probably 250, 200 cigars blindly on a year basis.
That's a lot.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I probably would if I
Nah.
could get
It's-
100%.
it's-
I
What do you
think
mean
I-
it's not? It's
I
not
think I
enough.
could easily- I could
It's like
easily
it's
do
not
it.
enough. You need more
20,
cigars.
20-30% of my overall smoke.
How did that come around? How did you kind of...
Cigar Sense was interesting. So I used to know quite a few people from the panel, friends of mine from different countries, and I always been curious, how I'll be compared to those people, because some of them are literally brand owners and people which are 20, 30 years in the industry. And one day I was contacted by the main editor of the Cigar Journal, Reinhold, and he said, you know what, do you want to try our batch so you see how is your palate, how you feeling it? So I've tried the trial batch and they like my scores and everything. Basically it was just a trial to compare how I am based to the other panels. And then I met them on the annual meeting. They do annual meeting every year in Austria. They invite me to the annual meeting in Austria. I was there, I met like probably 40-50% of the panel, even more. This was literally during COVID time. That was my first travel in the COVID in 2020.
Yeah.
And yeah, they welcomed me in the panel and I joined that one. So that's 4 years already being part of the panel.
Yeah, so fairly recent.
Yes, fairly recent. I mean, 4 years, yeah, for some people it's a big period. It's just the 4 years, it's not massive.
So how many people are on the Cigar Journal panel?
So at the moment in the panel, I think we are approximately 50 people. So if you're curious to know how the panel actually work and when we see top 25, how that is happening. So we are 50 people based in the different countries. Like I think the maximum you can have in a country is 5 people. So even if you want to join, let's say you contact them and say, guys, I'm this and this and that, I want to join. If there's already 4 or 5 people in the country you are based, they will probably put you on a waiting list or something like that in the future. If someone drop off, then they can add you, which usually not many people drop off, to be honest. So in UK, at the moment, the few panelists, myself, a guy called Peter, he's down in London, and Sahakian family, Edward and Eddie, they are part of the panel. and I think those are the 4 people at the moment in UK. There's another guy who joining soon. He's already on the trials and everything, so he's not in the industry, but he's a well-known in the social media and everything. So what they're doing basically, it's every cigar the panel smoke, it's smoked by approximately 20 to 30 people. So not every person smoke every single cigar. It's impossible. So they send different batches to different people. Usually it's like 8 to 10 cigars a month. And if I receive those 10 cigars, no one in UK will receive the same batch. Okay. So I can receive the same cigars like someone in Sweden, like someone in Austria, in Japan, in the US, but not as someone in UK. So that's how they pick 20 people from different countries. And that cigar is scored on score based like between 80 and 100. Those are final scores on the cigar. So you score individually. You decide how many points you can give on every cigar. Like I know some of my colleagues in the panel, they score highly cigars which taste amazing, balanced and everything, but they don't score that much on the construction. Other people expect the construction to be perfect. For me, it's both. I score mostly construction and complexity. That's the most important qualities. So when you submit your score sheets, they remove the highest and the lowest from the total, and then everything is in the middle after that.
Right. Okay.
And so it's like a median, like an average.
So like,
everything is on average. Let's say you have one guy score 85, the other guy scored 95, and everyone else is between that. They put it in average with like 89 or 90, something like that. And after that, end of the year, they send us list with the highest 120 cigars. So you can make your own top 25 based on that 120 cigars. Of course, if you smoke them. If you haven't smoked them, you just put your numbers, maybe top 10 only. Because I very rarely smoke more than 12, 13 cigars from that top 25 at the end.
Oh, okay.
I smoke so many other cigars, but very rarely more than that 12, 13. And based on everyone's submission at the end, they pick the highest 25. So you score 1 to 10 or 1 to 25 on every final cigars. Based on that one, they collect the scores on every cigar and they create the top 25.
That's incredible.
It's a complex. I don't think it's that complex process. It's just involve a lot of people.
Yeah.
But it's crazy how, because I suppose different countries have a different overall palette, right? So like the UK market, so that's where it comes, only one person from each country will have the same thing.
That is the point, because, for example, when you smoke and try to detect any aromas, any flavors, any taste, sometimes in some certain countries, those aromas doesn't exist. I always give an example when I'm talking for about that kind of situation. Someone, let's say you smoke and you detect figs in the cigar. How many people eat figs, especially if you're in Canada or in Sweden? I don't think fig is a very popular there, but if someone is in the Middle East, you know, like Saudi or any of those countries, fig is big. It's popular, like dates and figs and stuff like that.
Trees are everywhere.
Yeah, so they're everywhere, and they wouldn't describe that as a fig. They might describe it as something different, maybe dry fruit or raisins or something like that, which is a similar but not the same.
But then I suppose you compile it all and then you get that worldwide kind of flavor profile of the cigar, right?
Question though, how do they manage the states then? Because do they classify the United States as one country or do they go by state?
It's one country.
Really?
Yes.
See, that shocks me as well, because you would think they'd split it up.
So they got 5 people in the whole of the States.
They don't have a lot of panels in Canada and the States. I know there's a very few people in the States. Dave Garofalo is one of them. If you know, he's a big podcast as well, 2 Cigars guys and everything. The problem with the States is they cannot send them, well, they can send them Cuban cigars, but it's not really easy because States cannot smoke Cuban cigars, and we smoke Cuban cigars as well in the panel. And also the logistics point, you know, sometimes to send cigars to the States take a couple of weeks or something, and
by the time you need it,
and you have like a very short period of time where you can smoke them basically, so it's not very convenient for to the States. But I know there's a few people in the States as well.
That's interesting. What's the highest rated cigar you've given?
Personally, I think didn't give more than 94, 95. I've never given more than that.
Do you remember what that was for?
I haven't prepared to check in my notes. I don't.
Padron 50th.
The amount of cigars you smoke.
I haven't smoked this on a blind taste.
Oh yeah, true.
On a blind taste, I need to double check. I think 2 years ago when Perdomo win #1, I give very high score on the Perdomo, and basically everyone, because Perdomo win with a lot difference than the others. Perdomo 10th Maduro, that was the cigar which won back in the time, and it was Perdomo is one of the brands. Again, I usually don't go and buy Perdomo, but I smoke quite a lot on the blind taste, and they always high score. I don't know why. It's just the way they make them. When you're not biased, I always say, you know, we all biased when you see the band and the labels.
Of course, yeah.
Everyone is biased, but when you smoke blind, I don't even try to guess the cigar. Sometimes they send cigars, like it's a good example with the Dawood Fear of the Tiger.
Okay.
I mean, you can recognize the cigar.
Of course, yeah. But Rapper gives it away, right?
We smoked it in the annual meeting in Austria, and this was 3 months before the release. Nobody knew what was this cigar. We all seen in this torpedo, you know, short torpedo with the different spots, and we all thinking there's something wrong with this cigar. Someone messed up the wrapper because it doesn't look like natural, you know, it looked very weird. And I don't think anyone give a super high score on this cigar. It was something like 90 overall or something, which is decent, but not in the high 90s. And then when they released the cigar, and I was like, oh, we smoked that one. And people like, but how you score that one if you know the cigar? Well, we didn't know what was the cigar because nobody knew. This was a pre-release from Dawood a few months before.
Yeah.
So I reckon when the people smoke in the Cigar Aficionado, when they do a Andalusian Bull, you know, it's a very distinctive shape of cigar. I don't think people knew what's that.
Initially, no. But I mean, if anyone tries to do a blind taste on an Andalusian Bull or a Dawood Fear of the Tiger nowadays
you'll know.
It's like, oh yeah, I know what it is.
But when you do that kind of stuff, you have no idea.
Yeah,
and with
on a
every cigar
pre-release,
which is very specific, look like Barber Pulse or half black, half light, that kind of stuff, they usually smoke them beforehand, before releases. So,
I see. That's interesting. I mean, the Year of the Tiger is a beautiful cigar, and I believe they wrap a leaf around it, right?
It was the stems that they used on the
stems,
wrapper leaf.
yeah.
And they pressed it down on the
they
wrapper leaf to be able to get that look.
It's brilliant. Like, I think it's wonderful.
Genius.
I
I mean,
think
it's
visually
highly innovative.
They take the stems, they wet them, put them on around the cigar, obviously, press them for 24 hours, and then not around the cigar, around the wrapper. They use only the wrapper. They remove them, and you have the stains.
Because didn't they explain basically how they did it, right? Because obviously, usually brands will keep things like that to a minimal, right?
Oh, no, but they
came out and kind of said,
you was in the Dawood factory, you should know.
Well, yeah, this is what I mean. It's kind of Anthony was saying to me before. He's like, they told everyone how they did it, kind of thing. And
but I think that was the one time that if they didn't, people would have assumed the worst.
Yeah, of course.
So they had to, for the sake of good marketing, explain what their process was, what they've done, and how they've done it to demonstrate that it is a completely natural process. And they haven't like put anything artificial
additives or anything like that.
As I mentioned, when we smoked this blind, that was 40 people in a beautiful place in the Alps. Everyone was wondering, what is this? Is it a mistake?
Exactly.
Why we smoking this one? You know, it's something definitely wrong. Nobody associate this with tiger stripes, or it's on purpose, or how do you made it? And when they release the information, okay, we have like a chat group, and that's how they do it. That makes sense.
It's interesting, yeah.
I was going to say, because I suppose, as you say, that misconception, that conception before, when you first just see it based on visual, with no bands, no brand kind of exposure or anything like that, I suppose.
As soon as it says Year of the Tiger, it's like, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
So it was great. It was really good, yeah.
And they kind of, I forget the word. What's the word? Not. They produced it, I suppose. Like, they produced it to the highest of levels, right? They mastered it before they obviously made it a public thing or whatever, but
or maybe that was the first try and they got it right.
Yeah, just stumbled on gold somehow.
Yeah,
I mean, I'll tell you, those type of blends and releases, they are known. They make them like a year or two beforehand.
Of course,
this is not done overnight. Oh, we're releasing this tomorrow. They
takes a long
especially
time.
Companies like Dawood, which have a massive budget for that kind of stuff. They now probably think of 2027, 2028 releases.
Yeah, I mean, when I was there, I went in February. Was it February last year?
Yeah, 2023.
Yeah, February last year.
Jealous?
They already had the unbelievable trip. I mean, we've spoke about it obviously, but they already had the Nicaragua 10th anniversary on the tables in the rolling floor.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And they were like, you can't go over there because you can't. Obviously, they're trying to keep everything as a secret or whatever. But people were starting to walk around and get into that table. Then you just had people standing in the corner like, you can't look over here. You got to go that way.
You can't see me. I'm just here.
And then managed to win both of them. Win 2 of them before I left.
Nice.
So I beat Sam Router in pool because he basically made a little competition up at the start of the week, and he was like, "Oh, if anyone beats me at snooker pool, then you've got a gift or whatever." thought, okay. And I sit at the back of the bus, I was like, I'll win. So I went and we was in the second hotel and we got to the top and I played this game of pool and I beat him. I was like, sweet, I've actually done it. And then yeah, went to the white part at the end and they pulled out 2 of them. I was like, fair.
Lovely.
And I've still got them sat in my humidor, I haven't touched them. They're debanded, everything. But
Yeah.
it's like a bit of a hold on, you know what I mean? Like
Nice.
something to
That's
cherish.
Yeah, that's lovely, man.
really cool.
Yeah, of course.
Got to roll your own cigars as well.
Yeah.
Plant your own seeds.
Yeah. Well, that'll be you next, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm going in January.
Yeah.
You rolled your own Dawood?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So we got to basically do the master rolling. So we had a master blender over our shoulder. He rolled it first, showed us how to do it, and then he was like, right, it's your go. So then you get the wrapper, the binder, the filler leaves, you put it out, make the bunch, wrap it in the binder, press it, all of that stuff. And
so you put them in the press as well?
Yeah, put it in everything.
How long does it go in the press then when you're making the cigars?
Well, this is where it came a bit weird because they already had some that were already in presses that they've already pre-done. So obviously they were in for a prolonged period of time, right? Ours go in, but ours get put at the bottom. So then the ones at the top obviously come out and then thingy. But the ones that we actually rolled then got made into the boxes. And then, yeah, you got to take them away there and then.
Also, can I just say that the ones you rolled were actually really good?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't that bad, to be fair. I thought it was going to be an absolute shambles. One of the hardest things I've ever done. Really difficult thing. But it came out pretty well.
I think so. I mean, I smoked one, didn't I? So
yeah.
And it was really good. Really good. Yeah, 100%.
You've rolled your own cigar before?
Yeah.
You did it on the Tour, was it?
I did, yeah. I did in Oliva factory.
Yeah.
And I rolled 2 cigars, one with pigtail, one without. And they were like, Oliva never make a pigtail. How do you came with the idea of that? There were literally great like 5-6 people around me to come and see my cigar because I was the only one creating a pigtail.
The next Oliva will have a pigtail.
I like pigtails. It's a great cap.
Have you done it yourself?
No, I've never rolled a cigar.
No. It's difficult. If you get the opportunity, obviously.
Yeah.
100%.
You can buy kits, can't you?
Yeah. I mean, we toured with it, didn't we? But
we did, yeah.
We never got round to it.
Also very expensive, isn't it? So.
But yeah. I suppose we move on to Cigar Inspector.
Of course.
How that came about.
Cigar Inspector's been around for a while.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been... publication's been running for about a decade now.
Mm-hmm.
I only joined, I think, last year.
Fairly recent, right?
Yeah. So I joined last year. I used to have my own little thing going on.
Yeah.
And then Cigar Inspector came along and said, hey, do you want to come work with us? And I was like, yeah, sounds great. Mm-hmm. So I joined Cigar Inspector as a writer. And then recently I became the editor. So
nice.
I have a lot more responsibility now. So before it was like, just fun, and now it's actual work.
Yeah.
So
before it was a bit like travel around doing
yeah. Before it was great, just write a few articles, done, it's fine. Okay, now it's like, oh damn, I have to actually work now.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. I love it. It's definitely a dream job.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's absolutely a dream job. It's definitely the best. I don't think I'd ever want to do anything else really.
No.
This is the best job in the world. I mean,
you
I
still
get
to do all the photography side and the VR.
Oh yeah, I mean the photography
well,
stuff I do is is mostly fun. Like the actual work that I do is producing the content, working with brands, and making sure the publication is on a particular level. But that is exactly what I've wanted to do for a while, and I finally get to do it in a manner which is highly respectable, and it's a well-funded big team of a publication. It's not just me behind. It looks like it, but it's not just me behind the screen, doing everything. It's actually like a big team. There's a team of writers. Yeah, it's I don't know. I'm gonna cut that out. I'm not gonna cut that out. But yeah, we've got a few writers who don't want to be known. We've got a few writers who are happy to be known in the industry, and who also work in the industry anyway. So because they work in the industry, for them it's like it's quite straightforward. It's quite easy. To talk about cigars. I think the main thing that I enjoy about the publication is that a bunch of, including myself, a bunch of us want to do interviews and talk to the brands.
Okay.
So because as much as I love doing cigar reviews, talking to the brands and getting to know how the brands work, how certain things are done, talking to the actual brand owners, that to me is absolute gold. I think that kind of content is probably some of the most valuable content, and it's relatively rare. We've got a lot of content around Cuban cigars for that, where people have done interviews with Hunters of Francois, and if you go on the internet, there's tons and tons of content around Cuban cigars where people are talking to Cuban imports, Cuban cigars, retailers, and it's a lot very heavy on the Cuban side.
Yeah.
But there isn't a lot on this side of the planet, as far as I can see on YouTube and whatever. There aren't a lot of videos where people have done them with brand owners from Hoyo de Nicaragua or La Flor Dominicana or some of my favorite brands, or even Oliva. I mean, Oliva's a massive company, and I don't see a lot of videos from them. So I want to see more of that content. So I think
bring a little bit of
Do you
exposure.
think this is because of the premium side of the Cuban cigars? Like, for example, you've seen a lot of car reviews of Ferrari, Lamborghini, that kind of stuff, but how many times you see Ford Fiestas or Opel, Vauxhall Corsa or something like that? Actually, someone do a fancy videos and review them.
Well, see, I'd classify like Oliva on that premium end. I would classify Davidoff on that premium end, and a lot of these brands like Fuente, for example, that's on the premium high-end stuff. And still, we don't see a lot of content from these particular brands. And to be fair, they've been around for a while. It's not like they propped up last week or last month. They've been around for years and years and years, and we don't see a lot of videos. Maybe articles, but we don't see a lot of videos which are exclusively about Oliva. Going through everything about Oliva. We've seen one of Davidoff, which is a really good one by. Is it Boutique? What's it called? Do you remember? I've forgotten the YouTube channel. I'm gonna leave a link below, or I'll message you guys, and it's not my video. Sorry, it's your video. I apologize. I've forgotten what it's called, but they did a fantastic video where they went from seed to smoke or something like that, and they did a whole documentary on Davidoff, and that was incredible. And I want to see more of that kind of content for like brands from different regions like Nicaragua, Honduras, or Dominican Republic, or
just bring more eyes
Peru, or whatever. Exactly,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what I would like to see. But with Cuba, we've seen plenty of them, and there are lots of big people on big channels on YouTube that are producing content like that for Cuba already. So I want to see more of that for different regions.
Well, hopefully that can be you that brings that to YouTube. And
we definitely like to see that. I mean, your content is like top notch.
Yeah.
And we said this before, like when we record our own content, we look at yours and try and compare. How can we do
not
better?
really much comparison. Is there?
No, you're being too kind. I've seen your production value. Your production value is really, really good. You should have brought the sip and smoke light in it.
That would have been good.
Just put it
thought
behind
about
us.
it. We thought about it.
Could you just put it right there behind you and like
drill a few
that's
holes on the wall.
I'm sure Ray we fine.
That would have been good.
Yeah, we had a chat downstairs before filming about Cigar Inspector and how it's going. You said that it's like basically like tripled in growth, and
yes, it's been crazy. So, I'm gonna take half credit. So since I became editor, I'm kidding. From the beginning of this year, we've seen immense growth on the website. So the website's gone from like we've had almost 200%. Because last time I checked was last week. It went up to 180.
Okay.
I think when I sent the report, it was about 160 or 170. It's now gone up to about 185%. So we've grown in terms of audience and in terms of views by 185, 86%. That's almost triple the growth. So for us to grow that much in such a short space of time, I think we're obviously doing something right. And the website's growing, it's developing. And yeah, I'm really proud of the fact that we're growing so much and so quickly, and with such a your ass just fell there. Sorry, I just you tried really hard to make it look like that. Nothing happened, but I noticed it. Yeah, in such a short space of time, we've grown so much. I think the team is doing a fantastic job.
That's
Okay,
great.
so it does definitely look like, obviously, the whole organisation of Cigar Inspector and everyone behind the scenes is doing a really, really good job. So hopefully it'll continue to head in the same direction for you.
Yeah, but you guys are competition now.
Yeah, well,
Well, you don't sell cigars on the Cigar Inspector, do you?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah. So, but I get your newsletters on a weekly basis, and I have to say, like, I've seen plenty of like, I don't know if they're like sponsorships or people you work with. But I see on the newsletter they've got Monte Fortuna.
Oh yeah.
And then also on the website, I've seen that you've had Oliva.
Regis, like Oliva's great. Yeah.
All of these brands, so it's definitely like picking up for you, because when we first had that chat, that wasn't there.
No, because it is the publication is basically run on ads, right? So we don't charge our audience anything to come and it's not a magazine in the sense that you pay for a subscription to be able to consume the content. So the content is free, but obviously it needs to generate some income, and the only way that we can generate income is by working with the brands that we want to talk about. So Oliva is a brand that's been very supportive, and we work quite closely with them. I think Regis is another brand as well. Aladino, Vivi, Justo, the family, they're very close, and we've become really good friends, and they've been really supportive of what we're doing as well. So it's been brilliant working with some of these brands, and of course, as you said, Monte Fortuna, Raphael, who is I believe is the owner. He's been a good friend for a good number of years as well. So getting that support, as I said, we don't charge our audience, but we obviously need to generate income for the site and the YouTube channel and everything to continue running. So it's ad based effectively.
I see. I think it's really unique as well because there are a lot of other websites out there that are similar but don't have the same amount as Cigar Inspector. So I was looking on there, and you've got like news articles and things that you do post to the newsletters and whatnot, but you've also got like what you do with the uniquely written articles about different like cigar wrappers and things like that. I think that's really interesting. But not only that, you have a page where people can find merchants as well, and then people can like sign up and stuff, and I just think it's really, really cool.
It offers a lot.
It does.
So we want to work quite closely with merchants as well, not just the brands. Cigar Inspector historically has been one of those publications that has been kind of a platform where people come on and they do reviews and they put their own content on there. And since the website's been redeveloped, that's something which is quite on the forefront, and getting reviews is important because it tells other people what's going to be good. It's kind of like a barometer, it tells you what to expect from what, and this is the same with merchants and retailers, and this is why Monte Fortuna is a great company that we work with. Getting those kind of reviews demonstrates to other people, it's like, oh wait, there's a whole number of people that like this particular merchant, they must be good, maybe I should buy cigars from them. So as I said, we don't sell any cigars, but we want to support the merchants, we want to support the retailers, we want to support the brand owners and the manufacturers and everything. So it's a whole thing, it's not just one side of the equation. So for us, we want to support the whole industry, not just part of it.
Yeah, I like that. I also noticed as well, because the name Cigar Inspector, does that equate to one person, as in being like you, for example? Or
No,
is that
absolutely
literally
not.
just like
No, it can't be just one person in. No, it's a whole team. It's like Cigar Inspector is anyone really, because like I said, the platform is almost like an open platform where virtually anyone can go on there and do reviews. And if you want to put on a review, if you've had a particularly good experience or a bad experience or a mediocre experience with a cigar, talk about it. Because anytime you post something about your experience, it's potentially going to help someone else, and it's going to help other people make better informed decisions. And obviously same with Ray. Every time Ray's doing these blind tastes and they put up the reviews and the scores of all the different cigars, it's helping the community at large. It's helping everyone understand what cigars are going to be good, because let's be honest, cigars are expensive, right?
Yeah.
Especially with the recent price rise. And it's not just Cuban cigars. I know everyone keeps going at Cuban cigars, but we've seen the price increase of cigars at large. And this is cigars everywhere. And it might be because of taxes, it might be because of just, the cost of everything, but the pandemic obviously made a huge impact on the price of cigars. So all cigars have gone up. There's no such thing as, there are cheap cigars, but they're not inexpensive really. So I think when you have a system in place where people are doing blind tastes or being reviews and telling you their experience, it gives everyone else the ability to appreciate and focus where they want to go. If they know that, for example, when I come into the lead store, if I need advice, guess what? I'm going to ask this guy. Sometimes if I want to smoke a New World cigar, Ray will give me advice because he understands my palate. He knows what I'm going to like. He knows what I'm going to enjoy. And because Ray has such a huge amount of experience with cigars and he knows so much about this stuff, it's easy. And I think that when you have a network of people at large doing something similar, it benefits everyone.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it, to be fair. As you say, we do the same thing, right? We look at Ray as an encyclopedia. He knows a lot about everything.
He's a freaking nerd, that's right.
If you've got that on a
you.
larger scale across a whole website, and
Yeah.
the same type of people with the same amount of knowledge, all that stuff coming in the same sort of platform, people for, like, even myself and you, who are still learning about a lot of things, we can look at that. And it's, as you say, it's going to benefit us as much as it benefits her.
Like if you're learning, let me just quickly tell you, I'm not sponsored by this brand in any way, shape, or form. I have no affiliation with the brand. They don't even reply.
He's been dying.
Here we go.
No. They don't even reply to my emails. Let's put it that way, right? This is the best cutter I've ever used, and I'm gonna convince everyone of this fact. This is the best cutter in the world. This is the one. It fits in your back pocket. It slices. Look at that cut, man.
Perfect.
Do you want me to put you in touch with someone who will answer your email?
Yes, please.
There's the guy.
Yeah, Ray knows everyone.
Connections.
But like I said, I'm not affiliated. This is the best cutter in the world. I know you are gonna be like, oh, it's too thin. Listen, man, just use the cutter. It's the best one.
I like the SV cut.
See, I like cutters because that doesn't have like a mechanism, right? Like this one, you do it and it does it for you. You've actually physically got to pull that out yourself.
Yeah, but it's the
right?
same company, isn't it?
Yeah, same company. Very, very
so the
good
blades
cutter.
are going to be very similar in terms of performance.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. The performance of the C.Gars cutters are just top notch.
It's the best,
Yeah,
right?
they're great.
I've not come across a cutter. I like my accessories. I like my expensive
We
accessories.
can tell.
Yeah, I like
As an STD point line sits on the.
Don't tell me. So I like my expensive accessories, but if I want a good cut, I'm gonna use
Always
Zycar.
Zycar.
Oh, it's the best, man.
See, I have that same thing.
You should get this podcast sponsored by Zycar because it's like, I'm just
you're
giving a
watching,
massive
That'd be
plug.
great. Yeah, please do reach out.
But yeah, I mean, talking about the sort of the cigar panel side, have you ever thought about it?
The panels?
The panels and trying to get.
No,
them-
because I'm a cigar inspector.
No,
That's
can't-
Cigar Journal, the
can't cross-
competition.
Ah.
No, I love
Of course,
Cigar
yeah, that
Inspector.
makes
This is
sense,
our
yeah.
publication. It's our thing. Raise competition, man. You know, move.
Fight.
friendly competition on that side.
Of course, no. The one thing I love about this industry is the people. It's like I've never found an industry that's so. I mean, obviously we have our little tiffs and whatever, and someone's gonna, I don't like that guy. But overall, everyone's like so good to one
It's
another.
like a big family, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I
Yeah.
mean,
Across the
St.
board.
James Street, for example.
Yeah.
You've been to St. James Street.
Yeah,
I mean,
that
you've
wonderful,
seen
yeah.
how it is, right?
Few
We've
times.
been a fair few
Yeah.
times.
I don't like
Cigar
London.
merchant after cigar merchant.
I don't like London.
You don't like London? I've got a theory, right? And this guy's gonna probably disagree, but I've got a theory. London could be the greatest city on earth if the weather was good, but it's not. So
Also, everyone just always in a rush.
yeah, because it's
Yeah, I
like
mean, I know-
miserable weather. You just want to get out.
Yeah,
you just want to get back
So
inside.
you think if it was 30 degrees every day, you think everyone would slow down a little bit?
I think if
No.
London had
London would be great if there are like 70% less people.
I was going to
no,
say, I think it's the
no, I
population.
like
Yeah,
the number
too
of
many
people in
people,
London.
yeah.
Man.
See,
You need that.
I used to love it.
I live in a village with 5,000 people.
I used to love the idea of living in a city, living in London. I've always wanted to live in New York. Recently, in the last year or so, my parents moved to Ireland, so like it's rural, right?
Yeah.
Since going over there, it's so much better. It's just quiet, slow. You
Oh
can
no, I
kind of
agree.
relax,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. There are benefits on both sides. Living
Mhm.
in a city, there's certain benefits. Living in a rural area, there's certain benefits.
Yeah.
But my theory is, if London had like a Bulgarian summer, because that summer in Bulgaria was amazing, man. Oh my god, the weather there is just gorgeous. So if London had that weather in the summer, best city in
London
the
just gets so humid though. It's horrible when it gets hot there.
world. Nah, it was gorgeous, man.
Especially if you got on the
Yeah.
underground in rush hour.
Oh,
Okay,
terrible.
the
You're
underground.
like
Yeah.
sardines just sat
But
in there.
mate, like last week when I was in London and the weather was nice, ooh, it's perfect, man. You just
Yeah.
want to sit outside and smoke all
The
day.
one thing I do like about London is with the rush, it does kind of inspire me because I see everyone getting to work and doing their own thing.
Yeah, but then you look at everyone, everyone just looks miserable. Do you not think
You're
everyone's
looking in
just
the
like,
wrong place, man.
Yeah, maybe.
It depends where you go. I mean, when you go to St James's, like everyone's happy because it's
Yeah.
like the nice place.
To be
isn't
fair, I
it?
just put a downer on most things anyway, so maybe that's a me problem rather than a...
But I like the country. I mean, my girlfriend lives in the countryside, and it's beautiful there. It's so lovely.
As you said, there's pros and cons to each.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
course.
Yeah.
But
If you're living in a rural area, you know, good luck with Wi-Fi.
Yeah, you do have that issue sometimes going over the mountains, especially in Ireland. But yeah.
Ray, I kind of want to go back to the reviewing side of things, because we get this a lot at events and in the store and whatnot, and I'm sure you do as well. We get people come up to us and say, how do you get all of these flavour notes? I don't get any of that. I don't understand it. Now, I know how we explain it, but how would you explain it, as you are probably the most experienced here in doing so?
So you need to separate first the flavors or the aroma, if I can call them that way. There's an aroma and there's a taste. So they are very different things. One thing is what you get in just as a smoke, and the other thing what you tasting in your mouth. And they all have first and secondary differences. So the first flavor and aromas will be very basic, like woody, nutty, everything like that. And then if you want to pick a specific one, then you go to the secondary type aromas, where it can be, if it's a nuttiness, you try to see if it's like walnuts, hazelnuts, almonds, anything. But that thing will be, when you're making a puff of the cigar, it needs to be the first thing coming in your mind. You can even sometimes I tell people, close your eyes, don't think of food or anything, just what's the flavor in your mouth, what's the first association. Don't try to read the review and say, oh, some guys say this is leather or this is earth. Don't try to find that. Just smoke on yourself and try. You know, there's a lot of aroma wheels in internet. You can Google and download aroma wheels with all the different flavors, because I don't watch and listen to reviews. Honestly, for me it doesn't make any sense. I've seen some crazy vile reviews where somebody say this tastes like raspberry sorbet or something like that. Where did you get that? It's not in the cigar.
Probably had dessert before he had the cigar.
Or maybe he thinking his girlfriend or his partner takes him, you know what, we're gonna eat some raspberries tonight, and he think about it. So everything coming from your brain. You know, the brain is a very weird organ in your body, so everything's coming from there. Taste wise is maybe a little bit more easy, because you actually taste it with your tongue, with your lips. And the tongue is a very interesting organ as well. It's the front of your tongue will detect the sweetness. After that, you got the saltiness, sour, bitter, etc. And that's when you make a puff. Try to think where hitting your tongue, where you get the flavors. Is it in here, in the front? Is it behind? Is it further down, or is it at the back of the tongue? And when you pick it there, thinking if it's in the front, so that's the sweetest spot. So that's where the sweet buds, the sweet tasting buds in your mouth. Think how was the sweetness. Usually can be dark fruits, caramel, chocolate, that kind of stuff. It won't be raspberry sorbet, trust me. It's not a natural flavor. And just try to play. Take a sheet and try to make some notes. Maybe if you want to compare with some of the bigger reviewers in the market, like Inspector and a few other websites, you can have a look and see if you can pick the same, but everyone's palate is different as well. Some people can detect a lot of interesting flavors, other people cannot. So it's a study actually from a few different organizations about the taste buds of the human. So they prove they're like 96% of the overall population and the people, they have just a normal palate where they can pick some stuff and cannot detect others. There are 2% which have literally no palate. The people which cannot detect almost anything.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And there are 2% which have the super palate, which basically can detect even the smaller detail of a cigar. And sometimes the two cigars can be different. A lot of people say, oh, cigars should taste the same. Yeah, overall, yes. But you always can pick a little nuance where it's different. Maybe this will be a little bit more peppery, a little bit more spicy. Because even if you say, Hoyo de Monterrey Epicure number 3, the cigar Usman smoke, they theoretically should use the same tobacco. But this is a cigar which is in a regular production. Next year, the crop will be different. Even if they change the blend a little bit, it won't be the same. It will be very, very unusual if you smoke exactly the same cigar 20 times in overall, let's say in a year time, and you pick exactly the same flavors and aroma.
I agree.
The overall, you pick spiciness, pepperness, that kind of stuff, but the little nuances like black pepper, white pepper, red pepper, I don't think they'll be different. You also depend what you're drinking, what you're eating, what you're thinking, the mood. You know, it might be some bad news today. You're smoking a cigar. You just don't want to be bothered to detecting.
Yeah.
Or on the opposite, you might be very excited because you're going to a holiday or you're getting married or anything like that. You just doesn't think as well for that. So you need to be with the clear idea of why you want to do that. And a lot of people, when you say, they ask you, oh, we didn't detect whatever you score. Well, that's why you score and they don't score.
Yeah. See, it's quite similar to how we do it, right? You kind of, as you say, you get the sweetness or the saltiness or the sourness, and then you make your own judgment on based on what that is, right? And that's kind of what we try and portray as well.
There's another thing. Some cigars, there's a difference between body strength and flavors. And when you say somebody full body cigar or full strength or full flavors, they're different stuff. And I always say the taste, the flavors, full flavor cigar, you pick it with your mouth. Full body cigar, you pick it with your brain.
Okay.
Because the body is the nicotine, the strength. And everyone reacts differently. I know people which start sweating when they get the full body cigar. I know people, for me, when I smoke, literally when I start smoking this cigar, this is a strong cigar. Even if it's not described as a full body cigar, this specific example was full body, full strength. So what happened with me is I cannot swallow, I literally cannot talk even. I have something in here, stuck in here.
Like a lump kind of feeling?
In my throat. I don't sweat. I don't feel the rush shaking and anything like that, but I just have a lump in here, and I need to take like 5 minutes before I actually can start breathe normally and talk normally. This is with me. But again, everyone reacts differently. Some people have sweat on their hands and sweat in here and everything. It's very different for every single person.
Do you find you build up that nicotine tolerance?
You can, but also, I mean, maybe because I smoke so many cigars, not only mild or strong or whatever, they're just so many. Yeah, I have constant nicotine in my body. It doesn't. Last time I haven't smoked a cigar in a day, I don't know, maybe 2-3 years ago. Every single day I smoke 1-2 cigars or some even more, and nicotine is constant in my body, so I don't have that nicotine intolerance. But I know people who smoke more rarely and they cannot smoke a stronger cigar because they don't smoke that often. Same with anything basically. With the spiciness in the food, if you never eat spicy food, you try a spicy food and you're like, oof, it's too much. But if you're born in India, Pakistan, those countries where they eat spicy food in the morning, for them it's nothing.
In the morning?
Adapt to it.
Yeah, I've been in Sri Lanka and I asked for traditional
in
breakfast.
The morning.
Yeah, and those people have a different tolerance because they build up with that one.
Need a croissant, man.
Croissant.
What the hell?
Nice mild.
Yeah.
Easy start to the morning.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think I could go spice straight off the bat.
No, I couldn't
do it myself. But.
So, talking about cigars, shall we let people know our thoughts so far?
Yeah.
Obviously, we've been chatting away, so I've not been thinking about it too much, but I'll just start off with the factory smokes, the Maduro. Firstly, we'll start with construction. Bit iffy, but for the price you pay, can't really complain. Had to light it a couple of times.
A little bit flaky.
Yeah,
always on the factory smoke, you never get an ash, solid ash on that.
Very flaky.
It's like a
but if you've got an ashtray, if you've got an ashtray,
no problem.
It's not a problem. Or just ash down yourself like I did.
It was fun to watch.
But flavour-wise, it's beautiful. I mean, there's a bit of like white pepper in there, a little bit of sweetness, a bit of, I don't know, it plays around nicely on the palate, I think. Yeah, I'm
How'd it
quite
go with
impressed
your cognac?
Oh, beautiful. I mean, the cognac, it's cigar cognac, so it's designed to go with any cigar, really. So
works well?
Oh, yeah, 100%. 100%.
Good.
What about yourself?
Yeah, the Vega Fina shocked me, to be fair. I mean, it's not a brand that I've really delved into. I've smoked many of, as we mentioned earlier, but for a first introduction to the brand, I don't think, as you said, anything's going to kind of live up to it as such. Really, really good, really easy going, to be fair. It's not anything more than a medium strength. I would say mild at most, but I think for some people, medium, maybe tinkering on medium. But construction has been absolutely perfect throughout. I mean, we made a little joke about it earlier. I mean, I ashed it off thinking, oh, maybe it'll fall.
Yeah, I don't think you should have ashed it. It looked gorgeous.
I honestly think if I didn't, it'd probably still be going now. It was tough. It took a minute to get it off. But yeah, really, really good. Flavour-wise, hints of chocolate, which surprised me. A little bit of sweetness. But overall, very easy going. Quite, I'd say one-dimensional. Hasn't really changed all that much all the way through. It's kind of that chocolate's come in and out throughout the third and second third. I can't really comment on the final third because I haven't got there. But
sometimes less is more, though, right?
Yeah, I think for this conversation, you haven't had to think about it too much. You know, thinking about everything going on, it's been the perfect cigar with a perfect company.
Definitely, and I hope you guys enjoy these cigars that we've picked for you this month.
Of course, yeah.
and let us know what you think in the comments. But
yeah, just a slight disclaimer. Obviously, the box you receive, you will only get the Vega Fina and the factory smokes. You will not receive the Tabernacle Toro or the Hoyo de Monterrey number 3, Epicure number 3. Sorry.
But I'll advise the people to buy them and try them as well.
Yeah,
Oh, definitely.
Because they're phenomenal smokes. I mean, I have the option to choose of so many cigars, and I choose this one because again, this is a perfect cigar for end of the evening. You know, after dinner, it's a full body strong. It's quite strong cigar. But if you want to try, they also do a different size, a smaller size called Dawood, which is a shorter smoke than this one. Same blend, but it's phenomenal smoke. I mean, foundation is for me is I mean,
Very
even
good
your
blend.
cigar is blended by the same person.
Nick
Who
Melillo.
blend
yes,
mine.
that's right. Yeah,
Yeah. But
that's right.
I think across the board have been good on the New World on the
100%.
front. What about the Cuban over there? How's
Oh,
it going?
this is the bells, by the way.
Perfect timing.
Perfect timing there. So, this cigar has been gorgeous the whole way through, but because this is kind of a mild cigar, I'm also getting a lot of the experience from the Tabernacle over here because Ray's
Secondhand
blowing the
smoke.
smoke here.
So you think this change some of your flavors?
Oh, it does, yeah. It doesn't change the flavors. It changes the experience of the aroma. Like when I take a puff on the cigar, then it's very much Hoyo. It's really bold in terms of Hoyo flavors, cocoa-y, very mild, a little bit creamy, comfortable, gorgeous, beautiful cigar. At this stage, it's, you know, maybe it's because it's my first cigar because I haven't smoked any cigars at all day. I've just been running around.
I'm shocked.
This one, no, you know, normally I don't like smoking through the day.
Oh, okay.
But this one's like, at this point, it's got a bit of a kick. It's not strong.
Okay.
It's not strong. Like it's just got body. Like
It's there. You can feel
yeah,
it.
like it's built up. I couldn't even think of the words there. It's built up now, and yeah, I've enjoyed the hell out of it. But also, like the aromas from the Tabernacle have been helping carry things through as well.
Getting a
Maybe
little
that's
bit
the
of
strength that I've been getting.
I was going to say, a little bit of strength off the foot
Yeah.
of Ray cigar.
I have to say though, I'm not someone that enjoys a lot of strength, but the Tabernacle, the David, and the Toro,
Surprise you.
they're like in my top 10 easily. Like they're just unbelievable.
Well, this is probably a topic for another conversation. I know it will be a longer topic, so I just will mention there's a certain types of tobacco which the strength feel different. You know, Honduran tobacco, Nicaraguan tobacco, Dominican, the strength is different. Even if you say full strength, you know, full body, strong, ligeros, etc., they feel different. Like Usman doesn't like a lot of Honduran tobacco.
Strong Honduran tobacco,
Yes,
mild.
Honduran tobacco.
Love it.
He doesn't get it with it. He can smoke the Tabernacle and it's fine. I've seen it.
Yeah.
But he can smoke Plasencia 149, for example, and this cigar will hit him. And I think the
Phenomenal
Tabernacle is stronger cigar than
Not for
the
you.
Plasencia.
Not for me, man.
But
It's just-
for him, it's not.
Don't get me wrong. Like the Plasencia Alma Fuerte, the Salomons, the Robusto, whatever side, comfortable. They're supposed to be like full body, full strength
But they're
cigars.
Nicaraguan cigars.
Exactly. I can smoke them comfortably any time of the week. I can smoke that Monday morning. I'll be fine.
Yeah.
But the 149, even after a full meal,
Bit of a kick.
it's not a bit of a kick, man. That knocks me out. I'm just like in my living room, like, what am I doing?
We can add there the Cuban strength as well.
Oh yeah, Cuban strength
So
is very
That's
different.
the thing.
Yeah.
Cuban strength is different. It's a full body. If you look at the books like Cohiba Maduro, we mentioned Bolivar, Ramon Alones, they're full strength, full body cigars.
So
Then-
would that explain why you enjoyed the Bahique so much? Did you get the strength from that as well?
I did get the strength the first time, so I
Strong.
did get like a good strong hit of nicotine, a little bit of like a, you know, lightheadedness,
Yeah.
but it was a pleasant lightheadedness. It wasn't like,
Yeah.
it didn't make me feel like, oh crap, I don't know what's going on, I need to sit down. It was more like, oh, this is nice.
Yeah.
It was a very relaxing experience. But then if I smoke like heavy Honduran tobacco, it's a very different experience. It does not hit me in a positive way. And don't get me wrong, I really enjoy Honduran tobacco. There are certain brands from Honduras that are absolutely fantastic, and I love the cigars. As long as they're like mild to medium, as soon as you lean into that strong side, then it does not agree with me. I guess it's like food, right? There are certain foods that you just don't agree with.
100%.
Shall we do the for me, not for me?
Yeah.
That was what you were going to say,
I was about
wasn't
to
it?
say the same thing.
Cool. So we'll start off. We're going to say whether these cigars were for me or not for me, and then we'll come over to you guys.
I mean, I think I know their answer considering.
Yeah, I think
they fully chose.
ours is pretty apparent.
I mean, for you guys, it must have been a cigar that you'll go back to. You'll choose a lot of the time.
Literally smoked boxes of
Yeah.
these, you know.
Okay, so
Exactly.
for me, for both of you then. Cool.
What about for you?
For me.
I would agree. I mean, Vegafino, I don't think I could have been introduced to their brand by a better cigar. So definitely for me.
What a
Very good.
steal as well this subscription has been.
Yeah, I mean, you're getting a very good cigar.
I mean, the prices for these just unbelievable.
How much is your subscription?
$39.99.
Well, guys, go for that because
Wait,
the
how much
cigar
is-
Billy smoking is more expensive than that.
How much is a cigar?
$41.99.
Damn.
Yeah.
And you're selling 2 cigars?
Yeah.
That's right.
Not
So
bad.
don't miss out, guys, 'cause you don't want to.
Pretty good, actually.
But guys, thank you so much for joining us today. Such a pleasure to be here with
no,
you
it's been a
both.
pleasure, man.
And hopefully we can do this again at some
As I
point.
say, it's been a long time coming. It's been in the
You
works.
need to invite us to come to your house.
Yeah.
Of course.
And do
Yeah,
it
we
in
want to
your-
You're
come.
always
We
welcome.
want to come to the boardroom, man.
You're
Of
always
course.
you're always welcome.
Anytime.
They'll be down next week.
Yeah. Of course.
But again, yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for being coming on.
Pleasure's all ours.
Thank you. Thank
Guys,
you guys.
thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this, please like, subscribe, and follow us on Spotify if you haven't already, and YouTube to keep up to date with our latest content. And until next time, stay safe and happy surfing. Peace.